Hello, everybody, and welcome to, I guess, another one of these.
Oh man, how many do we have? Jesus.
You're the last one.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, you're the last recording, but you might not be the last one shown. You might actually be shown first. What I'll do is, after I'm done recording this, I'll think, who is the person I want everybody to see least? That's the person that's going to be displayed last.
Wow. Well, I hope it's not me. I hope this is the first one. Hey guys, if this is the first one, you're in for a great time. If it's the last one, just skip it.
Yeah, just skip it. Yeah. Who cares? Who cares who that human is? So.
Yeah, whatever.
No, I just kind of like, however, the flow I decide like looks good or whatever. So, anyways, I'm excited because Messi, as you were literally just saying before we started this recording.
Yes. Yeah, you wanted me to open on this, but we didn't. Yeah, I've never done a one-on-one D&D session before, Daelric. It's sad but true. I'm forever a groupie.
Well, I just want you to know that Rena, who is, as you know, another PC in the campaign, she's never done a D&D session before, and her first ever D&D session was alone with me.
Did you get me too?
Yeah, Jesus. Just gonna skip past that one. And yeah, pretty excited about it. Before we kind of delve into it, would you like to say who you are and how people can find you, Mr. Messi?
I mean, I guess I could if you're making me. Yeah, I stream on Twitch like once a month right now. But find me at twitch.tv/Messi_cat. Follow me on Twitter at MessyTwitch. Yeah, that's it. That's all I have.
Poor Messi, he literally just moved too. So like,
I got nothing. Like next week, I'm gonna have a better webcam. My green screen's gonna be set up. My cat won't be in here sleeping on it, I promise. But there might be some cat hairs from today, so if you see that.
That cat was so upset until you let it in the room, and now it's just passed out like, thank you, Daddy.
Yeah, he just wants to find places to nap.
Cool. All right, one more thing before we get started with this. I just want to remind you, in case people didn't know, the trump cards and the curses and the blessings and whatnot that can happen by spending daddies on stream does not take effect until session 2. This is technically session 0, so not even until after session 2. So session 3 technically, this is session 0. So this one and the first 2 with everybody together. That way you don't have to worry about things like negatively impacting you or positively impacting you at first. We just kind of like figure stuff out from there. After that, we kind of like remove the chains and all hell will break loose. And just so that you're aware, the party members, the PCs from the Aurora Kingmaker campaign have said they're saving up their daddies to drop a bunch of trump cards on you guys to party wipe. So.
Yeah, I won't say anything about that. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. You've saved yours, right? So you can just kind of do it first.
I think so. I think the last time we streamed in The Witcher, I spent all of them, and then you didn't redeem them and didn't refund them. So.
Yeah, well, that's what you get.
Yeah.
Bad boy. You can't spend like campaigns.
I was spamming like the most useless thing. Like I think we were just in dialogue and I got bored, so I was spamming like temporary hit points. I don't remember.
Messi's officially asking for 10,000 daddies to be just given to him. I suppose we'll find out whether or not he drops the trump card in the other campaign. All right, so let's kind of jump into this. Description of your character, we're gonna get that shortly. What I want to say is, your character is a little bit downtrodden at the moment. Obviously. He's been through a bit of stuff lately. You know what I mean? He's been through a bit of a hard time. And he's trying to still figure out what's going on. I think the music's a little loud, so let's just correct that. There we go. We try to figure out what's going on with the in his life. And so he is currently on a boat traveling upriver. Now, of course, he grew up in the capital of Paradel, grew up in Osto itself. And so he had a bit of a unique experience compared to even most parents. Parents that live on the borders know what it's like to have to actively see war, engage in war, and maybe even have fun in it themselves. Parents that live in Osto know of a free and happy, comfortable lifestyle, not understanding what war really is or the consequences of it. Of course, hearing about things and seeing reports since they come through the channels and whatnot, but it doesn't impact their lives day to day or sometimes ever.
I don't think I've ever even seen someone die.
Yeah. And it's very unlikely. This was like an old uncle, but let's be serious. He was never without that flask. You know what I mean?
Really?
So
come on, it's his own fault.
Yeah. So that being said, your character's been through his own ordeal recently, and he's currently on a ship by mandate of your parents. It's time for you to figure things out. And so
they don't understand. They just don't get it. I don't need to be going through this right now. I should be home on my queen-sized bed full of pillows and my drapes and all that. I miss my drapes a lot, Daelric. It's really sad.
Yeah, they're beautiful drapes.
Yeah.
This is his only hobby without video games to distract him. He just drapes.
Just kind of dropped.
All right. So, anyways, you're on the boat traveling your way upstream. Thus far, I mean, it's been a really, really uninteresting part. The one part where you're hoping that the journey will get a little bit interesting, like, oh, maybe I'll see something interesting, is you're of course going to be passing through Adir. Now, Adir is one of those strange countries that, even though like there's been some reports lately about things being a bit funky in Adir, there's really nothing noteworthy about it. You just know that for some reason it exists within the center of your country and nobody wants it. It's kind of like a wasteland that nobody really wants, but you're kind of hoping that maybe you'll see interesting things, maybe beasts off the side of the boat, or yeah, exactly. But people live there.
Some whiskey. I need more whiskey. I think I'm almost out.
Oh, there's backwater barbarians and whatnot that live there. There's a bunch of bumpkins and the like.
Find something nice, yeah.
Yeah. So you're traveling on the boats, as I had said, and the travel is not a short one. All in all, you believe your travel is going to be about 500 miles once everything's done, at least as far as you could tell by the way the bird flies. Who knows how long that entire journey is going to be? But putting that aside, your journey did continue on for a while, and inevitably you found yourself, where is it? There we go. Passing through the various towns that go along, the boat stopping here and there, but inevitably you find yourself going into Adir. It's one of those things where when it goes into Adir, you do notice, as you kind of expected, a sudden change in landscape. But the change in landscape that you encounter didn't make you think you're going to Adir. It made you think, oh, we're still not there yet. Excuse me. See, we're still not there yet.
That I was hoping.
The sudden change was into a thing of beauty. As a matter of fact, Adir in general seems to be a landscape that is more or less untouched, unadulterated. Like, it is a beautiful landscape that you come across. Again, like I said, you didn't think it was Adir at first until one of the people that you were traveling with had announced that was the case. One of the people that work on the ship or whatever. This piqued your interest because of how incredibly beautiful it was. It was very much different than what you had always been taught or understood to be a child. But that's neither here nor there. One of the more interesting things that comes to mind is that you're told you're actually going to be stopping in 2 cities there. At least 1 city and 1 town. You see that you're going to be passing through what the capital of Adir would be. But more importantly, at one point in time, you're going to have to cross through a little area. You guys have to pay some sort of toll. So you'll be like more or less kind of pulling up for less than an hour, docking at another town along the way. It'll give you an opportunity to kind of like stretch your legs off of the boat and to see what the place is like. Sure. So your travel continues going until you get to a city by the name of Hodgwen. Hodgwen is what, again, you would call the capital there. Now, this is a very, very strange location. As I had said beforehand, the area around here was rather nice. It was beautiful. Until it takes...
Are we talking like a wetlands or like a forest or just like cities? Like what kind of landscape is this?
On either side of the ship, as you were making your way towards Hodgwen within Adir, it was actually mostly rolling plains. Golden fields, rolling plains of grass and wildflowers, things like that you would see. But then all of a sudden, things kind of change. For instance, at one point in time, you literally ride by a small company of soldiers that are literally watching you. Like, you see a company of soldiers, maybe, 80 of them, sitting there by their camp. There's about 6 of them that are over by the stream, and they're watching you guys as you're traveling. You can see that literally as you guys are traveling, one of the members of the crew kind of goes over and they hold up like a small stick. That stick is like a flag, a parallel flag showing like who it is that they're on, but specifically the Osto seal is on there. So they kind of like lets the soldiers know like, oh, we're just like more or less a trade wagon bringing goods sort of a thing. Don't attack us. We're not here like for war or whatever. And the soldiers kind of like just all watch you from the various distances that they are, but don't engage at all. But things get even more strange as you get really close to, like, you can literally see the city off in the distance. You can see it. Okay, you've seen cities before. You've gone by them on the boat, whatever. But then you notice that the ship itself seems to be sloshing and moving funny. And there's a bit of clamoring going on amongst the crew that's there. Everybody's a bit surprised. Going to investigate it yourself, you can see that on either side of the ship there seems to be some film material, something thick and sticky is in the river and kind of like clinging to the side of the boat and making it so you guys are traveling much slower than you were beforehand.
It's drag. It's dragging the boat. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, is this something that you would really engage into as a conversationally, or would you just kind of like sit back and let things play their course?
I imagine at this point, I mean, I've probably been traveling for at least a few days on this boat, right?
Yeah, for much more than that, yeah.
Okay, so maybe a few weeks.
Yeah, a couple
so
weeks.
I would probably know most of the crew at this point. There's not really much to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I would know if they were incompetent or if I could trust them. And I feel like this crew being, as highly regarded as they are, I'd be like, you know what, you guys can handle this. I know you all by names. I trust you.
Okay. And you do exactly that. You allow them to just kind of go about their business. They sludge their way through this. Eventually have to bust out oars. And this is something that you have to do when you're going against like a bit of a current. But using oars and have to oar themselves up through the stream to get through this nasty gook. But as you can see, like as you're kind of like making your way through it, the film that's like holding on to the oars, it's like lifted up and you're watching it, is almost like a greenish color. You have to imagine almost like a really thick algae is sticking to this. But it kind of like...
Do they seem surprised at this? Or
yeah, absolutely surprised. And it goops off of the oars as they're raising it, almost like a thick syrup would. But eventually, they make their way through the gook and into the ports of the city of Hodgwen, where, if it was thick before, it is thick here. As a matter of fact, the city has these makeshift devices that are along the stream itself to literally reach out. It's almost like you imagine like little cranes that they've had to manufacture that works on this very complex pulley system with hooks, where it's literally people now have jobs that and everything's makeshift. Looks like it was built probably in the last like month or two, like very, very recently made. Where literally like hooks will grab onto like the front of the ship of the boat, and people on shore will actually actively pull these ropes that work as a pulley system to help work your way through how thick the water is here. You can see that there must have been a population of fish and whatnot at one point in time, but that population is floating, varying degrees of rot, leaving the city with this like thick, pungent, rotting fish kind of smell. Yeah. Now, granted, it's getting late in the year, anyways. It's and you're kind of happy that the decision was to send you up north because I mean, with it getting late into the year and it's starting to get to the seasons where it's going to be getting colder. Down in Osto, they really feel winter, but going up north, you're going to be closer to the equator, so you're going to be much warmer there. It's going to you guys suffer through the snow. I'm going on vacay. So in Hodgwen, you notice that the people here are not quite as barbaric as maybe you had always thought, and maybe not quite as bumpkin as you had thought, but certainly have a degree of both. Okay. Could you do me a favor for your first check? I'd like you to roll me an insight check to get a general idea of this place.
Insight, you got it, sir. I'm not super insightful, generally speaking.
Insightful enough that you realize that this place is actually also heavily militarized and heavily policed. But I use those words lightly in the sense that they're not very military-like and not very police-like. They seem like a very, very, very large band of ruffians are the ones that run this city.
Okay.
No uniform for the most part. No centralized is there a specific group of weapons that they all use and whatnot. Just very rough place. You end up staying there for a whole day's time. Use the pulley system, eventually break your way through, and are able to continue moving your way upstream and out of this location. The whole place is...
my time spent there, I just keep my head down and try not to bring up any trouble yet. I don't know these people.
Correct. Yep. And eventually you break free, and after a couple miles outside of Hodgwen, it breaks up a bit more, and then eventually you're free roaming again with your boat, making your way along the river. Eventually the river opens into a massive lake. You go through that lake, and you can see there's tons of fishing boats around. They don't seem to be impacted by whatever that was back there because there's so many miles between them. And eventually on the other side of the lake, you come across another small town. You pay a small fee. You dock there for an hour, and you continue on. All these details at this point kind of don't matter. The trip goes on for another couple of weeks until eventually you get to the city through another lake and whatnot, and to the city of Zatish. When you get to the town of Zatish, this is where things kind of finally start to change for you. Eventually, first of all, you're back in Paradel. You're in specifically the province of Vala. And finally, you're able to get off of the boat. After all this time, you're finally able to get off of it.
Stretch my legs.
From here, you're going to realize that even though you're a couple days behind because of what you had experienced through Hot Gwen, even though you're a couple days behind, the people are paid well enough by your family that they're waiting for you before they begin their voyage to the north, where they're doing their own trade route. Of course, going there to get their weapons and whatnot they're going to be bringing back south and blah, 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 blah. That doesn't matter.
No, it does not.
But what does matter is that in Zatish, you have a couple of days' time to spare after you get there. Because, more or less, they weren't about to be pushy to the noble's son and make you be like, oh, you are 2 days late. We leave morning. Let's go. It was that, no, sorry, you are here so late. No, you relax. Get shoes off. 2 days, we leave.
Yeah, I've been traveling so long. It's about time someone new treats me nice.
And of course they do so because they understand the significance of your family name. I mean, somebody that walks around with the name of, pronounce Alitan?
Yeah, that's right.
Aliatin?
See, that's the thing is I don't know.
Alatin. Tell me how to pronounce your name.
Yeah, I like Elitelin.
Elite. Oh, with an L in there? Elitelin or
There's
Elitin?
an L in there. There's an L in there.
Oh, there is. Oh, I thought there was an I. Huh.
No,
I'm blind.
that's
Elitelin.
Elitelin.
Elitelin. So if somebody that walks around with the family name Elitelin is not only hard to pronounce, but difficult to deal with. So they
You made me.
so they choose to handle you with mittens. While you're here, you can kind of like I suppose relax, get your rocks off a bit. What do you do for entertainment?
Well, I guess I'd put my bags down, leave it with the bag boy, and then I would find a place to spend some coin, get a good drink,
Sure. You looking for a tavern, a place to maybe spend coin in a maybe slightly more nefarious way?
I think I need something nice, man. It's been a hot minute since I've gotten real off my rocker. I think I need some real strong, expensive, high class.
Gotcha. Coincidentally, Zatish is actually a town that is one of the first decent-sized towns. It's a large town, not quite a city, that exists in this part of Vala. After a long stretch of kind of a bunch of like thorps and villages and stuff like that along the way. So they do have accommodations for all different classes, right? And so for you, it's very, very comfortable. So it's very easy to find a location that you're like, this place has good ale. When you go into it, one of the first things that you get the impression of is it has decor that would be nice if you had bad taste. It has people like kind of like the way they're dressed and the drinks that they have there. It's like, yeah, this is expensive alcohol, but it's not actually good alcohol. It's the idea. It's almost like a poor man's idea of what rich men like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I figured. Yeah.
Ostentatious and it's just expensive, but either way, it's like going to a dive bar in a good area of Osto. So you're comfortable going in.
Yeah, I'll kind of roll my eyes at it, and then I'll just, buy it anyway, drink up.
Okay.
But it's not exactly what I wanted, but it'll hit the spot.
Okay. So from there, you're actually going to be able to just like relax and get a couple of drinks. Now, are you looking for any more entertainment beyond just drinks and whatever they have on the stage, or is that about all?
I think I'm still a little like in my own head about what happened. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do when I get to Vala. So I think I'm just more concentrating on thinking ahead and not really in the moment.
So while you're thinking in your head, not really in the moment, kind of distracted and watching, at one point in time you're going to get up and take a piss because that's what you do when you're drinking, right? When you come back to your table, you can see that two things have happened. One, they've refilled your drink because why wouldn't they? It's their job to do so.
Yeah, of course.
And two, on the plate that has like crumbs of whatever it was you were eating, sorry, there's a plate that has crumbs or whatever, tucked slightly under the plate, you find a folded piece of paper. Actually, my apologies, an envelope.
An envelope. I'll sit back in my chair, look and see if anyone's looking at me. Do I perceive anyone looking at me?
Roll a perception check, sir.
Fantastic. I'm pretty good at this one. Well, maybe not as good as I thought.
That's not bad.
No, I don't have my 3D dice on. I gotta turn that back on.
Oh yeah, definitely gotta get that on. I gotta enjoy that. My microphone's giving me issues. I messed it up. The problem is I get excited when I play D&D, and so sometimes I like pull.
Oh, Daelric, stop.
Yeah. Oh, never mind. So, never mind. I want to finish the story.
Going to US, yeah, keep going.
So, you look around and you don't see anybody's like staring at you or noticing you or anything like that. And just to be a little bit more thorough, while you were looking for eyes and obvious gestures and whatnot, why don't you also roll an insight?
All right. It's not bad.
You get the same idea. You don't think that anybody's really watching you or kind of like pensively keeping notes or nothing really catches your attention.
Nothing too in particular. Okay.
No.
So I guess when I'm satisfied looking around, I'll kind of like sit up and I'll just like slip the note and I'll just put it in my pocket. I'm not going to read it yet. I'm just going to slip it in my pocket and then I'm going to finish my drink, down the whole thing, just leave.
Just like boom, straight down the hatchet.
Right
All
down.
right, there you go. So you throw that down the hatchet and you leave, and you go to walk 2.
Somewhere private, I can read this letter.
Sure, you of course have a room established, not in this place of business, but the room that you had established for you when you arrived to the town. And so you make, again, large town. So when you make your way over to where that room is, and you go and check with the innkeeper and whatnot, it's one of those things where you raise your hands and you got to wave to the innkeeper. Can you do me a favor? Roll me a Constitution save.
Constitution save?
Mm-hmm. And as you wave to the innkeeper, just kind of like, because you'd already checked in before, they know who you are, just kind of like wave to them saying you're going to their room. So one of those things where you notice that as you wave to them, your hand almost has this like dragging, like as you wave, it's like 5 of your own hands drag behind it kind of sensation.
That means it was good stuff.
You feel really groggy. You're like, whoa, I must be much more drunk than I thought I was. As you get like dry mouth and a little woozy. But you make your way back to your room, right?
Am I getting sweaty? Am I starting to sweat? Maybe dabbing in my forehead a little bit?
Probably by the time you get to your door, you start to realize that. But it's one of those things where it's just kind of like coming into you in like small waves. That you don't realize that some symptoms there until like the symptoms already been there.
So I'm going to, as soon as I'm in the room, I'm going to shut the door, spin that lock, and I'm just going to rip that thing out of my jacket as fast as I can and just tear it open and just like start reading it and try to stand up straight. While I can still read.
Before you tear it open, you're gonna have you roll me what is it? Perception check. Usually I wouldn't, but because you're just gonna go tear it open, I'm gonna have you roll that.
Oh god, that's great.
Okay, no, that's good. So before you go tear it open, so it's actually something catches your eye even before you just quickly rip it open. You actually notice a seal that's sealing it shut is very, very, very familiar seal. It's actually very specifically the seal used by Marquis Medahina.
Marquis Medahina?
Mm-hmm.
The Marquis Medahina?
It is definitely her seal.
Then I'm gonna pause a second. I'm just gonna hold the letter and I'm gonna let the alcohol start to get through me a little bit, try to relax myself a little bit, and then I think I'm just gonna start feeling it a little too much, and I'm just gonna put it down and I'm gonna lay in bed. Just for a second until I can get my bearings, then I'll read it.
Okay. Roll me another Constitution save. This time with disadvantage. Oh.
Oops. Well.
You can reroll at disadvantage. I said it too slow.
I mean, it's not gonna help. I'm probably it's great.
You are feeling so deep into the depths of whatever this is that's affecting you. It's now that you're realizing, I know I didn't drink that much, and this is way more than alcohol hitting me.
I had that suspicion, and as it started building, I was like, okay, hold on.
It is something.
This is right.
It is something so much more intense, so intense. And so you're lying there and just kind of like swooning and dizzy, and like it's one of those things where like you kind of like look over with like a side eye at the letter, and you like want to get the letter, or if you're thinking about getting the letter, like as you pass it through your mind, like it feels like miles, like just even reaching out is just too difficult. But do me a favor, actually, roll me an intelligence check.
Well, I was gonna be intelligent on my own and go into my history a little bit, but I can roll out an intelligence check if you want.
No, you go into your history first.
Okay. I was gonna say I've had a life of partying. I was a rich kid growing up, still a rich kid. My character, not me. And I think I would. I'm not sure if I've ever had this exact feeling before, but I know what you're supposed to do when you feel like something is happening like this. I'm gonna try to self-induce vomit. I'm gonna put my fingers in my mouth and try to make myself vomit.
Yeah, actually, you welcome to do that. That's more of a what kind of save is that? I don't think I really need to make you make a save for that one because it's not so hard to do and you're already so dizzy. You can kind of like lean into that and allow it to happen.
I imagine I've had experience too. I've done it a couple times.
Fun,
Not
fun,
only in bad situations, but this is feeling similar.
fun fact: real life. If the chemicals have already been absorbed, the compounds have already been absorbed into your bloodstream, and so you're not actually going to be pushing them out of your stream, out of your body by vomiting. All you're doing is elevating your heart rate and increasing the speed at which it's going to, like, take its effects. So it's just like hits you hard. It's like I need a bigger rush. So anyways, you.
Hoping it's not all dissolved.
So you kind of like stick your fingers or whatever in your throat. Or you think about the time you walked in and your dad, never mind. And you lean over the bed and start vomiting or whatever. And it's rough because it's one of those, like, you have mostly liquid in there, a little bit of food coming out chunky. There's a bit of an aroma to it. But you will get out as much as you possibly can and start eventually gasping for breath. Do me a favor, roll me an intelligence check.
Now I roll the intelligence check. Just the check, not the save.
Correct, sir. Okay. No.
We're gonna die.
No. Because remember, just because it's less than 10 doesn't necessarily mean it's bad.
Yeah. But I mean, seriously though.
You remember this symptom. It was part of your training. It took a while because you were so fucked. But that moment of clarity you get, like that adrenaline rush you get from vomiting, gives you
thinking of the past of myself making myself vomit. I'm like, wait, hold on.
You remember this compound. They've done it to you beforehand. This actually give you quite the lethal compound if you don't do the right things, or if you just happen to not have like a good strong constitution so you can survive through it. You yourself are actually a naturally tough person, but you're still susceptible to this kind of stuff. But you always remember that every time they've ever given you this drug to like train you with it, they've also given you the antidote. The antidote itself is usually extremely has like a waxy texture to it.
Okay, Daelric, I see what you're getting at. All right, so I'll with my last remaining energy force myself up from the bed and reach for the letter and just grab it, look at it, look at the seal, and be like, I hate her so much, and I'm gonna lick that seal. I'm gonna eat the shit out of the seal.
So a couple of licks and whatnot, you actually get that like slight, almost like battery acid burning sensation in your tongue as soon as you do, confirming in your mind, this is what I need. So you kind of like take that seal off, you break it up, and you start like, chewing on it, and it's like gummy and waxy or whatever. But eventually it takes like a solid 10 minutes or so. But you feel exhausted, tired, worn. Like this was a very horrible experience to go through. You had to force yourself to vomit. You're now sitting kind of in the vomit. It's like your calf and knee are in the vomit.
Fine. Like, again, this is all normal.
You were trying to turn a new leaf, though.
I mean, yeah, it sucks on my first day in the new city. In my new, area, Vala. The big redemption arc of myself that the first night I'm laying in a bed in my own vomit. But really, if you start there, there's nowhere to go but up. So maybe I start falling asleep with a smile on my face, like I'll do better tomorrow.
So you have clarity of mind now, even if you're physically exhausted. Do you choose to open the letter now?
No, I'm upset. I'm just if I'm exhausted, I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it later. Tomorrow is the day that I will be a better person. Today, maybe I'll get some more liquor if I can stand up later.
You climb back onto your bed and you pass out. Many hours pass until finally you're woken by it sounds like something dropping or being knocked over or whatever inside your room. It brings you to a start, and you look over in the room and you see that the person that's in charge with cleaning the room is standing there staring at you because you very much look like a corpse right now, in a room that has vomit on the bed and the floor, and they're just kind of like holding the bucket and whatnot that they're bringing in to help clean up the room, and just like staring and like wide-eyed staring at you as you're kind of like looking at them, startled because they dropped something.
Can I get some water and some bread, please?
They just stare at you for a couple more seconds, slowly nod their head,
Oh, thank you so much.
and then leave and shut the door. They eventually bring you. The people come in and bring you food and whatnot, and step over the vomit and look rather disgusted. But you get stuff, you eat, whatever. Blah blah blah. Time passes.
So I guess at this point I'm alone in my room again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just to clarify, I traveled here completely alone, right? Other than the contacts I met on the way. Okay. So then in that case, I'm just gonna, after I've had my meal, I imagine I'm eating my meal and I'm just staring at the letter, and I'm like, and then I go back to eating and I look back at the letter and I'm like, and then I just feel compelled. I'm like, I can't not read it. I have to read it. So I already ate the seal, so it's already open. So maybe I'll just take a look. So I'll open it up from a distance safely. Make sure there's no dust on it.
No anthrax.
Nice clean.
So you open it up, you check it, make sure everything's good, so on and so forth. You give it a good look over for safety's sake. Investigation.
Okay, investigation. Just for funds. Didn't roll for me, but there you go. Oh, there it goes.
You roll like garbage. I'm glad I put your window where I did in the overlay. It's going to work out great. Great. Okay. I'm just saying, right. I put Rena in a very specific spot. She rolls fantastic. And I put the other two of you where you belong. So
off to the side. Yeah, okay. I get it.
Anyways.
My perception and my insight were pretty good. And then, the rest of it's been, Anyway, keep going. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. So you open up the letter, you investigate. Everything seems in the up and up, like no drugs or powders or anything like that. And then you read the letter. It says, "My dearest student,
Ugh.
I'm assuming by now that you are reading this letter that it is the afternoon of the following day. Too obstinate to open the letter when you needed to, and too foolish to not drink to have drunk a drink that was placed in front of you when you weren't there to see it poured. The many lessons that I've tried to teach you, you've learned almost none. But nonetheless,
I'm reading it with the voice in my head, and like I'm just gonna get like a little puppet and be like, "Ma."
Literally the letter. How many times do you read?
Start reading it, her voice will be like, "You still me," like, I actually start reading the letter to myself in that voice with the little hand puppet, like just annoyed that she was right.
It's like a text message from mom. Like,
yeah, it's like,
get to your fucking point, mom.
Okay.
I'm sorry that you had to learn a harsh lesson a few weeks ago, but you still have more lessons to learn.
Is that it?
I'll be seeing you soon.
That's ominous. Is there like a fireplace in the room?
Yeah, you're in a very fancy room. Okay, your family can afford it, so there's no. Yeah. Like,
crumple it up.
The less pronounceable the family name is, the more wealth they have.
It's true. It's so true. I'll crumple it up into a ball and I'll just toss it in there and I'll burn it later.
I'm just saying in chat, people are thinking of their characters next. Oh, when I play in this campaign, my character is going to be all consonants and no vowels.
Just 5-letter C's.
Yeah.
And they'll all be silent.
All right. So, anyways, so you throw it into the little fireplace.
Yeah, I'm just like just like whoop from across the room.
It's of course not lit.
Yeah, obviously, I'm just leaving it in there.
Yeah, and the rest of this day, the next day, do you do anything of note or?
Well, look, here's the thing, man. She says she's gonna see me soon. I know I can't, I'm not gonna be, like, I don't know where she is. Like, I know she's around here somewhere. I'm still pissed off and I want to find her, but at the same time, I don't know if it's a good idea yet. So part of me is like, we should go look for her, and the other part of me is like, we should hide so she can't find us. But I kind of just give in, and I'll just go, I'll wander about, like look for food, just kind of out and about, and every once in a while I'll start glancing around, see if she's there, and probably not. And like I feel dumb. I'll be like why am I looking? Like I shouldn't be looking. She kicked the shit out of me. She and her guys kicked the shit out of me. Why am I looking for her? But nevertheless, I'm looking for her.
The problem is that you're dealing with a Metahina, and Metahina are very unique people of the Perrin. Perrin all have, of course, last names, but the important things to note about the Metahina is in Perrin families, every child that's born is born, and they gain the title, they gain the last name Metahina. And Metahina is a name that they get forever. They don't have a family name until their parents have another child. Once they have a younger sibling, they then lose the name Metahina and instead take on their family's surname. And the whole idea is that every child, the last born of every family, maintains the title of Metahina, because as soon as you become 20 years old, you actually are then excommunicated from the family. You're never allowed to go to them for guidance or aid or anything like that in the future. And you're not a member of that family. You just are completely cut out. No finances, no anything. As soon as you turn 20 years old, full-fledged legal adulthood to all ideas, that you can fight war and whatnot well younger than that. That's full-fledged for the sake of this. And you're excommunicated. That's it. Now, sure, if some point in time in the future, if a family has another child, a younger sibling of yours, you then gain the name and they gain Metahina. But the whole idea is that every family must earn their own way, must earn their own right, and every person must have this inner drive. And so it really drives people from a very young age. I better be skillful, better be good at something. Because if my parents don't bone, I am screwed. And so
I'm out.
I have nothing. And so you have to be prepared to earn everything for yourself at a pretty young age. Now, some people had children rather young. There's a big gap of time between when your parents had you and when your parents had your sibling. But some people have children next year. And so you can kind of grow up a little bit more privileged. But it's an important thing to know. This is a Metahina that's probably in her 50s, you'd have to guess. Maybe her 60s, if you had to guess.
Yeah.
Which is kind of young. When you hit that 50s, 60s range is when you're only hitting middle age for a parent. They live a pretty long lifespan. So, I mean, this is somebody who is that's like saying somebody who's 35 in their being a human. It's in their prime. Yeah. Just saying. 35 is their prime.
All right. Okay.
I'm personally almost to my prime. I'm still a little young.
So. Got any white hairs yet?
So
I hit a chord.
So she is somebody that has lived an entire life of earning everything, and she certainly likes to teach you, the privileged little boy, how to earn stuff as well. So
that's our relationship. Yeah.
Moving on. There's no encounter with her. The day slides by, and eventually it's the next morning, and it's time for you to get into your wagon and start traveling north again. Leaves you a lot to contemplate about. This wagon that travels north is also interesting as well. I mean, it's a group of people that are not warriors by any stretch of the imagination. As a matter of fact, they literally have one guard with the caravan, because why would they need to have anything else? They're in protected lands of Paradel. Well, it's foolish of them, because even in the protected lands of Paradel, they're not always safe. Especially when you get into Vala. See, Vala's been recently one of the more expansionist regions of the entire Parrot Empire, right? It is a region that has been pushing and taking chunks and chunks of land from Taziendale for a while. The Tazian people aren't happy with it, especially the ones that are left behind inside their now leftover homes. They, of course, were forced into the choice, what's called Inclime. They were forced into the choice either to be slaves for 9 years or warriors for 3 to earn citizenship. And some of them chose neither and instead broke away, freed themselves from slavery, and formed bands that strike against the people, the Perrin people and whatnot. As you're traveling along on this wagon, you unfortunately happen to be one of the innocent Perrin persons that a small band of bandits happens to come across. It happens like this. the wagon's traveling. It's literally 3 wagons long, a small caravan, predominantly full of like produced goods like cloths and whatnot. Like sheets, blankets, clothing, etc., etc. Meant to bring up there so you guys can then collect ore and fabricated weapons and whatnot to bring it back down. I should say steel and fabricated weapons to bring it back down. When in the middle of the road, a road that is otherwise a maintained Perrin Road, a Vala Road, in the middle of the road, there happens to be a boulder sitting there. Now, this boulder wasn't naturally there because the road is well formed. It also looks like by the dirt trail that's behind it, it was probably pushed here the past couple of days, maybe even this morning. But it's very obviously in the path. The person that's leading the caravan notices it well in advance and starts pulling the caravan to a stop and calls out to everybody else a warning. You overhear conversation, about it, and I imagine you get out of interest to investigate. And that's when a little bit of panic happens. You're going to be kind of walking into a conversation between the leader of the caravan and the other people about. What do you mean? I mean, I hired you for a reason. Protects the caravan. That is literally your job. And the other's like, I'm one soldier. This looks like we're about to be attacked by people that know what they're doing. I say you just barter with them. Offer them something. You're literally hired to protect my goods? And now you're telling me I should offer my goods to protect my goods? I thought I was offering my goods by... What? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Listen, obviously it's a lot of men that push that boulder, right? Couldn't be just one guy, could it?
The other guy kind of gestures towards you and is like, yeah.
Yeah. So, unless this one guy is going to be able to stop them, we should probably maybe head back, find another way? Or do you just want to sit here and argue until we die?
So it's punctuated until we die. Boing! An arrow hits the caravan. Yeah, boing. Boing.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Some cartoon noises. Hits the caravan nearby where you guys are. And what you happen to see is gets your attention. You look up in the direction where you heard it fired from, and you see that standing on the hill, there is a woman that's holding a bow that had clearly just fired the shot. You see her like lowering her arms afterwards. And behind her, probably Tweedledee and Tweedledummer, are 2 guys that look rather large and bulky, but maybe not the brightest, have a bit of a daft look to them. Well, to be fair, you probably think that because humans are a little bit, taller and a little bit...
They look kind of dumb.
Yeah, they look kind of dumb. It's funny because humans can't really tell the difference between Perrin and humans, but Perrin certainly can. And Absolutely. They look kind of dumb. But she herself seems to be maybe a Perrin, maybe just some Perrin blood, because she seems, has a bit more grace to her.
Okay. Well, I'm running for cover. I'm gonna run up to the caravan and just kind of slide in there, kind of get protected.
So maybe we should turn back. Maybe we should.
Yeah, I'm dipping. I don't know what the other 2 guys are doing, but I'm just gonna be like, I'm just gonna shout like, "Let's go" or something like that. I'm just gonna be like, "Let's go, guys!" And I'm taking off. I'm like, "Come on, let's go."
So the caravan leader, the one who's getting rather vocal, all of a sudden takes a half step behind the guard, and from the middle of the guy's back, shoves him a step forward. The guard's and looks back at him like, "Are you?" You know what I mean? And then turns towards her and says, "Yeah." And she calls down and says, "It's very simple. We don't expect much of you. We can barter here. I'm willing to take a cut."
I'm hearing this from inside the caravan, I see, or from behind it, I mean.
"I'll allow you to choose which wagon you leave behind, and the other 2 may proceed with all of your people. Either that, or we're going to have to start firing arrows until you choose to take the deal. And at that point, we'll keep whatever you can't bring. And I have a feeling it's going to be more than 1 wagon." And the guy's like, "I only see 3 of you. And you can like see like in his face, he like hates the fact that he's
He
saying
doesn't
these
want to
words.
say it. Yeah.
I only see 3 of you, and it doesn't exactly look like you're outfitted with much more than what you probably made yourself. There's a good chance I can get from here to there and kill all of you before you can really hurt me. And she's like, and she can see
I'm gonna
like,
give him a thumbs up. Be like, yeah.
and you can see she's like, do you really want to take the chances that that might be true? I'm a mean shot, and we're probably not alone.
I don't know, guys. She missed the first one.
He looks towards the wagon guy, who had taken several steps back himself. So he's like over where he could jump into the wagon for cover if he needs to. And there are other people around that had kind of been slinking behind the wagons so that they can be from cover from those 3. As he looks back at the guy and like with an incredulous look, like, aren't you going to do anything? The guy's like, what do you want from me? Sneak around behind them? And he's like, I don't know. I can maybe be a dick and keep them talking. And he looks around and he's like, I don't know. He could sneak around behind them. And gestures to you hiding under the wagon.
You got a knife?
Yeah? And he pulls out a knife and tosses it to you.
Is it stealthy? Did they see him just be like,
Yep. And she literally is watching. You like look up and you like pick up the knife from the ground and she sees you pick up the knife from the ground. Granted, you could step out of sight easily by going behind the wagons, right? But she sees you pick up the knife from the ground. It's one of those awkward moments. You like pick it up and she's like,
it's like put it behind my back.
and what's that? He looks back and says, we gotta cut the goods free, right? And she's like,
yeah. I'm agreeing with the guy next to me.
so he looks down and he's like, right? Yavin?
That's correct. Desmo?
Just
Desmo?
go and cut the goods free. And you're actually gonna roll a deception. You would have disadvantage, but you're gonna have normal roll because he's assisting you.
I'll have a normal. Okay. All right. Disadvantage. Wait, what am I rolling again? I'm sorry.
Deception.
Perception.
Is it not popping up on my screen? Did you click the buttons yet to force dice to roll?
Yeah.
But they're not rolling. Like if I go,
Hold on. I
it
see
appears.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just...
So go over to your settings cog, and on the checkoffs it says enable 3D dice and automatically roll 3D dice.
Yeah, they're both on. You want me to rejoin maybe?
Yeah, refresh. That's weird.
Is it possible that it's because I'm rolling it as character and not as my profile?
No, it should definitely be. It should be fine either way.
Okay.
Because I can roll as you on this too, and it does it. You know. Okay, that rolled. Perfect. So do me a favor, roll that deception check again, just to make sure it works off the character sheet too.
Okay. I gotta open my character sheet again. Hold on.
No, you're fine. That's because you have to refresh.
And character sheet and deception, normal.
Perfect. Sexy. We're obviously keeping your original one.
Yeah, thank you.
So you say that, and then you kind of like look back at her to like see if they bought it, and she's like, "Go on," and you like scurry away to go and take care of it.
Oh, okay.
To go cut the goods free from the wagon that they're gonna, like go do something with this knife, right?
Yeah.
What do you actually do?
Well, I walk up to the wagon. Maybe I grab a sack or something, and I just like kind of hide my knife inside the wagon, and I just look like I'm sawing something. I'm really just like this, right? And I look up to see where the easiest route to get out of her line of sight is the quickest.
Roll me a stealth check.
I can do that one pretty good too.
You are pretty sure that 3 steps from here, 3 steps to the right moment, the right distracted moment, they will have no sight to you. because you're coming up into the mountainous region. They're kind of a bit on a bluff, gives them like higher ground, so that they would have, you would have to run up a hill to get to them, so it gives them an advantage in the attack. But that same bluff that they're up is going to give you full cover from sight after literally 3 steps. If you just wait for the right moment. Excuse me. And then you can kind of like make your way around. And you're looking, it's hard to tell from here, but you're pretty sure you'll be able to get a climb up along the way after you've gone out of their sight a little bit. Maybe a little bit of a climb. And then you'll be able to kind of get up to where they are on their level. You wait for the right moment. You hear him...
I'd probably lean over and like call to the guard. I'll be like, hey, give me something. Just like that.
So he does, he kind of like nods without looking over at you, and you're a little bit surprised at how practiced at this he might be. But then finally he says, and he draws his sword, how do I know that you're not just bandits? How do I know that you're not slavers? And he says, gesturing the sword toward them, unlawful slavers. How many men do you have with you, really? And she's like, looks a little perplexed at the moment. And this is literally one of those like, what the hell? Okay. And you make your way around.
I'm in my stance. I'm ready. As soon as he pulls out that sword, like the first time he pulls it out, all eyes are on that sword. Like she's like, what is like? I gotta figure out what's going on. As soon as he starts pulling that sword out, I see it, and I'm like, boom! I just dive straight into the whatever's out of line of sight, just trying to slide in. I don't even care if I screw up my whole outfit. That's fine. I'm getting in there.
There you go, getting dirty. Ooh.
Right.
Without the girls there. So anyways, you go diving in, and you make your way as far as you can along the way. Like I said before, you believe there was going to be a bit of a climb up the bluff, and there is. For you to actually make that little bit of a climb, it's going to be an athletics check, or because of the way that the rocks are kind of positioned, you can actually get away with an acrobatics check because like you can use your dex to get up there if you prefer.
Oh, I definitely prefer. For giving me the
athletics check. Acrobatics, I meant.
Oh shit.
Unfortunately, as you go to do that, you do still end up slipping and a bit of a slide. You do hear somebody from far away say, sorry, perception check.
Dang it, I wish you would just told me. No!
So you do a little bit of a slide, kind of hold still for a second. Maybe they didn't hear me.
I think I'm good. I'm just going to keep at it.
Yep, go ahead. Another acrobatics to try to climb up again.
Much better.
This time you easily climb up. As you easily climb up, roll me one more perception check.
I like these second chances you give me. These are nice.
You literally notice, just before they notice you, that one of the guards had clearly come over to investigate whatever that noise was. If you are good enough, if you roll good enough on your roll, stealth with disadvantage, you might be able to duck from them noticing you.
So I'll look side to side, just see if there's like some flowers that are the same color as my outfit. I'm just going to try to roll into them if they're there. That's a stealth check, disadvantage?
Disadvantage. Mm-hmm. And you do. You dive just barely out of sight. He makes his way over to the area, looks kind of like down the cliff area, looks about, tries to see if anyone's around. Doesn't see anybody. It's kind of one of those things where he's completely unaware that you're hiding there in their little hole and separated from the rest of the group. Do you just wait till he walks away, or?
Oh yeah. They're buying time. I got to use it.
Okay.
I'm going to use it.
So he eventually kind of finishes up what he's doing, and he makes his way back over towards where they are. And at this point, after he makes his way back, and you can hear like conversation off the distance, you can't really hear what they're saying, but he converses with her quickly. And you can kind of tell by the distance and peeking out, they're only about 50 feet from you now.
And there's only 3.
So only 3 of them that you can see up here.
Dang. Okay. I was checking to see if I had something, but I don't. There's only 3 of them. They're not that far away. Are they like right on the edge of a cliff, maybe?
A hill, like a good shove would get them tumbling. You know what I mean? But not so much that they would.
But they would tumble towards
the guy with the sword.
My guard.
They're not like
Which
directly behind, in front of you. You're not behind them. You have to kind of like make your way around to do that. So to that kind of position, probably 70 feet away.
okay. So I'll start. I think I'll sneak over so that I'm like directly behind them, and I can get a good view of like their profiles and kind of decide which one is the strongest one.
Normal stealth check. I'm getting fed up with this. Is he almost done getting things prepared? You could just leave the wagon. He's like, and the other guy's like, no, we need this wagon. We need to transport goods back. Maybe you'll meet us on the way back and steal that too, you filthy expletive. And it's honestly, his screaming is probably what saved your ass there. From her and one of the other guys. But the same guy that had come searching beforehand starts turning back, and it's like, oh no. And he literally says, I don't know, boss. Hold on. And this time he comes over with a sword, with an axe drawn, like a hand axe drawn. And my apologies. He said that in Tasian, which I think you can speak.
I think I can.
Yep,
yeah.
you can. He said in Tasian, which you can speak. So he starts making his way over towards you with that axe drawn, and looking towards, this time, kind of walking directly towards where it is that you're hiding.
So there's no way he's gonna.
He doesn't seem to be looking at you, but definitely directly towards where it is that you're hiding. What do you do?
Like a rock I can pick up?
A rock? Sure.
All right. So I'll pick up a rock. I'm just gonna off to the side. Just try to distract him. Get him walking the other way a little bit.
Deception. A sleight of hand first.
I'm good with sleight of hand. I can do that.
Oh,
How's that?
actually, yeah. He's like, boss, this is definitely something up here. And he says, like a bit louder, and then goes walking off to the side, so he's not directly walking directly towards you anymore.
And I'll peek up when he's walking off to the side, and I'll see if the other two are turned around.
They did for a moment, just like hear what he said, and she's like, then figure it out and handle it. And then she looks at the other one and taps him and says, would you help the idiot? And turns back towards him and turns the guy down below and takes like another couple steps forward. And the two of them are like walking off not far from you. As a matter of fact, the area that they're searching is probably only about 15, maybe 20 feet away from where you are, searching around the brush. You imagine they're eventually going to be searching closer to you.
All right, so I'm gonna.
She now,
I'll
by the
take
way,
this opportunity.
sorry, she now, by the way, is only about 30 feet from where you are.
Fantastic. I'm gonna take this opportunity. I'm gonna get up into a stance that I can just sprint from. I'm gonna make sure they're not, coming this way yet. See that they're good. Okay. Looking at her. I gotta take her out. Sprint right at her. I'm gonna try to tackle her off the cliff with myself.
Advantage athletics.
I'm scared because I'm not that athletic.
Oh, you roll horribly. It's awesome. So you literally.
Anything.
You literally go running and tackling, and you do take her down the cliff. However, it's one of those things where literally like mid-tackle pull down, she's able to and kind of like twist her body and is able to grab you and tumble with you on the bottom, like the receiving end of this. I was going to allow you to take acrobatics checks to make this be a bit more of a graceful thing. Unfortunately, that's actually not going out so well for you. You're actually kind of being the one on the way down. Could you do me a favor?
Can I, while I'm going down, sleight of hand, get her with a knife?
First, I need to make me a Constitution save.
Okay.
Scott, you make me roll all my best things.
I've never been very good at constitutions. Oh, this one's pretty good.
There you go. It's so funny you didn't try to. This is yonder, yonder. Awesome.
Yeah, shout my own name.
So I never had you describe yourself earlier. I'm so dumb. So anyways, you make your Constitution save. So as you're going, kind of going down there, you definitely get hard rocks. So at one point in time, you hit your head, but you keep your consciousness.
Good.
Now, sir, unfortunately with disadvantage, you are welcome to make that roll.
Is it an attack roll?
Attack roll with your dagger.
With a dagger.
Disadvantage. And you roll very well. You actually hit. Nice. Nice. So you actually are able to stab her. Roll your damage, sir.
Do I get sneak attack?
No. Disadvantage, not advantage.
Dagger. There you go. Oops, I think I rolled disadvantage damage, but you want me to re-roll normal damage?
No, just roll damage. You gotta click the click the button that says dagger in chat.
Oh, hey, oh my god, I clicked the wrong thing.
I did 17 damage right dagger.
Yeah, 17. I was like, wait, hold on, that doesn't look right. I rolled a d20.
You stab her really hard. Like, you hurt her really bad. She lets out a loud scream and kind of like throws herself off of you, and she's tumbling down to the side. You're well past where it can be a simple acrobatics check and now a dexterity save moment.
Okay. Normal?
Mm-hmm. You're able to kind of like slow down your fall and come to the bottom, like come to a slide a little bit before the edge of the hill. Sorry, a little bit before you come to the actual bottom, and you kind of like catch yourself and stop yourself and kind of pull yourself up after you. Oh God! But what you see as you do that is the guard had already taken the opportunity to kind of like rush over and had his sword out, and he's literally, as he's like, you're kind of getting your senses looking in that direction, she's also trying to pull herself up. She's got a dagger literally stuck in her side. He comes over and boots her straight in the chest and has his sword out, flips it around, and drops it down to stab her in the chest, but stops right before he does so, and looks up at the other, and he lets out like a "You!" and like looks up at the other two up in the on the hill, and kind of like gets her attention. He's like, "You will leave now, or she dies now." And he presses it down to the point where she lets out a whimpered scream, like "Ah!" as he does it, and the two up there are like wide-eyed, like, "Oh shit." He's like, "Will you leave? Do you concede?" And like they look at her, they look at each other, look at her, and she's like, "Yes, you idiots, yes!" and they're like, yeah, then drop your weapons and come collect your expletive. And so they are like, take a couple moments looking at each other. Then eventually they do throw down their weapons, and they make their way down. And as they do so, he still has the sword over them, kind of like looking at them. And once they make their way down to the bottom of the hill, he looks at the two of them and he's like, "And any other weapons on you need to leave behind?" And the guy's like, No. Seriously, we're good. Good. Suddenly changes his stance, the grip on his sword, wheels back, and with a big, long swing, severs the head of one guy, cutting deep into the one next to him, killing one of them instantly and leaving the other one going to die very soon. As soon as he pulls his sword free from the second guy, he then drives the sword back around and stabs her in the chest and looks down at her and says, "Scum." Pulls the sword back out and then starts cleaning it as he walks back over to the leader of the caravan and says, "Bartering does work." Throws it back in there. Besides, they're disgusting fools anyways. They had an opportunity for a good life. They don't deserve anything else.
I'm gonna scramble up to my feet. I'm gonna look at what happened. I'm gonna be like, was that because of me? Like, was I responsible for this? Like, kind of like blaming myself and just looking at him.
He sees you a little perplexed, and he comes back over, and he actually, his demeanor changes from this like blood hungry person, changes considerably, and he goes over. He's like, No, I'm so sorry. 1 second, and he goes over and he actually dusts off like your shoulder a little bit, and he kind of like helps you down off the area where you are. This is the soldier, helps you back down off the area where you are, so you're more on stable ground. He's like, "Listen, I understand you're not used to life in the frontier. You're going to have to get a little bit more used to it. And I don't mean disrespect in saying this, your lordship. But it's just, life out here is a little bit different. There are people that don't understand. We're trying to offer them a good life. We're trying to offer them all the wonderful happiness and everything that you were able to experience, right?"
Yeah, okay.
And they turn their backs off of an opportunity. And we just don't have space for that in our kingdom.
Yeah, they shouldn't have done that.
Absolutely should not have. Nonetheless, the goods that belong to the crown are still safe, and you know what? We can pick up a couple of things along the way. I'm actually familiar with that bow. And he leans down and picks it up, and he's like, "It's quality wood that they use to make these kind of things. She probably took it off of a corpse. She can now sleep with it." Spits on her face as it's like lying there dead, and starts unstringing the bow as he walks back towards the caravan. You want a drink? He says as he calls back over his shoulder to you.
Yeah, one second, and I'll like walk over to the body of the woman, and I'm gonna be like, oh god, and I'm gonna grab the knife and go shink. Be like, my knife's dirty. Clean it off and run back over to him, and be like, you want this back or can I?
He asks you, you ever kill anyone before?
No, not. Well, I fought, but never killed.
Well, then keep that knife. Next time, I'll help you get you first. And with that, we're going to end the session. Awesome, cool. So we get to meet our friendly little friend here, Yondas. I hope you like stretching his legs a little bit.
Yeah. I think he's still a little baby boy. He's gotta come into it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think he's right now. He's not used to Vala. This is like his first week, and he's already almost died twice. So, I think he knows that he needs to learn because he'll die if he keeps his mindset. So he's willing to change. I think
he's a little nubile boy. He's a little cutie. Still got some things to learn. Welcome to the frontier, you dumb fuck. Get ready.
Okay, thank you, dude.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I guess that's a term of endearment here.
Well, I meant Yondas, not you, Neil. You, Messi.
No, that's what I meant. Yeah, Yondas thinks that's a term of endearment.
Oh, of course.
You always say that.
I almost called you Neil because I said the word nubile, and then I was like, oh, clearly I'm referring to Neil.
Isn't that your Discord name right now? Is Neil's boyfriend?
Probably.
I think so.
Yeah, I could change it. I could be messy boy.
No, I can't think of anything fun on this spot. That's too much. If this was like actually pre-recorded, you'd actually edit it. I'd think of something funny and have you cut it. But that's because I care about myself.
Yeah, watch what you say, sir. They're all watching. Or just don't have those thoughts. All right. So, anyways, just as a reminder to everybody out there and watching, and I don't remember if I said this in the other videos, so if I'm repeating myself, get over it. The campaign will be impacted by the the patrons over on Patreon.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you were gonna say I thought you were going to say it's in the same universe as the Kingmaker thing, but
I was going to get to that in a second. So I was going to say, by the patrons over on Patreon, it is going to be impacted by that. And they're going to need a little bit of help because this is in the same universe, same timeline, same everything as the actual Kingmaker series. I'm sure there were a couple of references that were made along the way that you guys probably picked up and go, ha ha! But, we'll worry about that as Kingmaker's figured out. So, anyways, I hope everybody enjoys meeting Yondas. I hope everybody enjoys meeting all the other characters, and I'm excited to finally get the party to meet and see how they get along and whether or not they can accomplish their task of regicide. So
we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, thank you all so much. Bye.
Hey, everyone have a good night because this is the last one.
Oh.